I remember the day I climbed the tallest building in New York City, the wind whipping through my hair and the skyline stretching endlessly before me. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over everything, making it look almost magical. But in that moment, I felt like the world was closing in. It all felt too good to be true. My name is Helena Montez, and I am a senior bank executive at one of the most prestigious banks in Manhattan. I have fought tooth and nail to be where I am today, climbing from the role of a mere bank teller to the executive suite. But I learned a long time ago that ambition comes with a cost. Hidden beneath my polished exterior is a hunger for success that has often led me to make ruthless choices. And it was on that rooftop, in the cacophony of my dreams and fears, that I faced the ultimate betrayal. It was a night that would change everything. My boyfriend, Alex, had planned to propose to me there, surrounded by glittering city lights and the promise of a future together. But that moment, that dream shattered like glass when he turned to me not with a ring, but with the burden of a confession. He had been unfaithful, and not just once. He had spent nights wrapped in the arms of another, a woman who was supposed to be my friend. My heart raced, the world tilted, and I felt the suffocating grip of betrayal wrapped around my throat. I was left standing on the rooftop, my dreams dangling above the abyss. I had sacrificed so much for love, my time, my trust, my very soul, and now it all felt torn apart in an instant. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. As I stood there, the sky fading to darkness, I felt the icy fingers of revenge creep into my heart. I had built my career through hard work and determination, yet here I was, betrayed by the one person I thought I could count on. My mind raced with thoughts, each darker than the last. I decided right then that I would not only reclaim my dignity, but also rise above this treachery. I had always believed that justice should be served, and now it was my turn to ensure that Alex learned the cost of his betrayal. The days that I began investing quietly, using knowledge I had gathered over years in banking, knowing exactly which stocks to buy and when to sell. With each successful trade, my confidence grew, and so did my wealth. I turned my vulnerability into a well-managed portfolio, all while watching Alex from a distance, noticing how he struggled without my support. I wanted him to feel the weight of his choices. Each day, I would pass by the coffee shop where we used to laugh together, reminding myself of what I had lost and the strength I was gaining. I took solace in knowing that while he was wallowing in his guilt, I was building an empire. Months passed, and I had turned my investments into a small fortune. I had become a force to be reckoned with, and I was fueled by revenge. It was then, when I felt ready, that I decided to confront Alex. He had been trying to reach out to me, sending apologetic messages, begging for forgiveness. I smiled at his attempts. He had no idea what was coming for him. I invited him to a dinner under the pretense of wanting to talk. I remember the nervousness in his voice as he arrived, the way he fidgeted, unsure if he would be welcomed back into my life. We sat across from each other at a table set with fine china, and I could see the regret etched on his face. He stumbled over his words, expressing his sorrow, but I could barely contain my laughter. I had successfully dragged him back in, and now it was my turn to unleash my truth. I leaned forward, looked him straight in the eyes, and revealed my success. I told him how I had turned my heartbreak into financial triumph, how I now controlled assets worth millions. The disbelief on his face was palpable, but it was the moment of satisfaction I had been waiting for. I wanted him to feel the weight of his choices, to understand that while he had thought he could take everything from me, I had emerged stronger, more powerful than he could ever imagine. Our conversation took a dark turn when I presented him with an offer. He could either work for me in my new company or forever be known as a man who betrayed not just his girlfriend, but also the woman whose career he had once claimed to support. I watched as his face paled. The tables had turned. The man who had once underestimated my ambition now found himself scrambling for relevance. It felt exhilarating to see the look of despair in his eyes, realizing that I had leveled up while he had sunk into mediocrity. The weeks went by, and I reveled in my newfound power. Alex, who had once held my heart, was now merely a pawn in my game. Every time I saw him, I felt a rush of satisfaction, knowing that I had taken control of my narrative. I had risen from the ashes of betrayal, and I was not just a survivor, I was a warrior. Eventual justice was served, cold and calculated, just as I had envisioned. In the end, I emerged not just with my wealth intact, but with an empire that was fortified by the flames of betrayal. My story had become a testament to resilience and the fierce spirit of a woman scorned. I reclaimed my power and stepped into my destiny with pride. I learned that sometimes the most potent form of revenge is not in action, but in the unyielding pursuit of success. And now I stand at the top, looking down at the city, knowing that I have not just survived, I have conquered. Join me as I continue to build my legacy, because this is just the beginning of my journey. If you want to hear more of Helena's story, subscribe for the next chapter of my life.